friends are dead, push me to the edge. All my friends are dead, push me to the edge. All my friends are dead, push me to the edge.
All right, welcome in, guys. This is South Shore Sports. I'm Joe Stafford. I'm a student at St. Anselm College in New Hampshire. In the corner here, we got Pat Sr. He's an incoming freshman at UMass Amherst. And then we have another incoming freshman, Pat Sullivan, who's playing basketball at Salem State. And today we're just going to talk about starting off with the Melvin Gordon situation. So today we started training camp, and Melvin Gordon did not report as was expected. He's seeking a new deal with a height contract of Le'Veon Bell and a floor of what Todd Gurley's trying to get. And I wonder what you guys' opinions were on the Melvin Gordon situation.
I'll say straight up, he's not worth that kind of money.
I agree.
I don't really think running backs should be paid Le'Veon Bell money to begin with, but especially Melvin Gordon, the production he had isn't really up to par with what he's looking for.
I think it really makes the Le'Veon Bell situation even more interesting as a case study for running backs in the future. Because you see Le'Veon Bell take the field today in training camp. There was no rust. Apparently he looks phenomenal. And a reporter asked him what happens if you get 500 touches this year as like a joke. And he said whatever we need to make the Super Bowl. So that should tell you right there he's interested in team football, which is great because you can see a lot of that from him in Pittsburgh. But getting back to the contract situation and setting the floor. So, final word on Melvin Gordon. I don't think he's worth it.
Nope.
No, I don't think he's worth it.
I don't think the Chargers will pay him that. I think he's either he'd have to settle for the Chargers, or if they can work out a trade where Los Angeles somehow gets something of value in return, because I don't think they want to give up a dynamic player like Melvin Gordon for nothing. Because he does add a lot of value to your game. And a lot of people don't realize he can catch out of the backfield. I think he had over 50 catches last season.
Yeah.
That's something that people don't really respect about Melvin Gordon.
I think you see that more and more now, too, across the league, is more running backs are adding that to their game to add more value to their names.
Well, it's all about spreading the ball out now. We're all in the spread offense era. Now you have Alvin Kamara, who's had 82 catches average over the last 2 seasons. His only 2 seasons. And Christian McCaffrey had over 100 catches this last season, which is unbelievable.
Legit.
I mean, even look at what's been happening these past 4 years in New England. Mm-hmm. All our running backs basically are what Brady's running backs are one of his favorite receivers, like James White.
Yeah,
James White's one of his favorite.
Very popular joke on social media about Tom Brady. So that's definitely something to take into consideration.
Dink and dunk down the field. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, it works. Whatever works.
Speaking of running backs in the contract market, Ezekiel Elliott, as reported by Adam Schefter today, did not show up to his chartered plane for the training camp to begin. I think they're flying out to LA for training camp, which is weird because they're in Dallas, so I don't understand why that's happening. But regardless, was not on the team plane, seeking a new deal. And the thing about this is a little bit different from the Melvin Gordon situation because he is seeking a new deal with 2 years left on his current rookie deal. I think that's ridiculous. Play out your contract.
I think it's
your rookie deal. Yeah. That's ridiculous. I don't care who you are. Just play out your contract and then seek a new deal. I guess the Melvin Gordon thing is a little different because he has 1 year left and it's a 50-year option.
It's
something else like that.
Ezekiel Elliott's
the thing with Ezekiel Elliott
go ahead.
With football, it's like, he's seeking a new deal because he wants to get that money. You never know in football. You could take one hit and you could be done for the rest of your life.
Right.
And they're making millions, but they're not making these players want to get paid the big bucks, and they don't have fully guaranteed contracts. I think that's one of the biggest issues with the NFL right now and why players are holding out is because they're not guaranteed. It's not fully guaranteed money like it is in the MLB and the NBA.
Right, to parlay off that, I think the reason why there's been so many contract holdouts is because of the NBA. You saw this offseason where mid-tier players are getting these ridiculous max. Like Tobias Harris and the Sixers should not have gotten close to. Was it a max deal or close to max deal?
Tobias Harris is a max contract player in the NBA.
That's a whole different discussion.
I think he's borderline, but I think it's also, remember 2016 you had Evan Turner getting 17.
Well, that was because they had
but even still,
the cap went up tremendously. The cap goes up every year in the NBA, but that year it almost
skyrocketed. We get it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I know it's all for marketing the players, but that's getting ridiculous to a point where I think when I did the math out, I think I saw it on Bleacher Report. I think Chris Middleton was making 3 DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, guys. Like
it's ridiculous, but at the same time, you have to find the balance between player demands.
The factor between the NBA and the NFL, you're right, but I think that's the reason why these players are so antsy. Because in the NFL, you're even at more of a risk for injury.
One hit.
I think for NFL players, what NFL players need to look at is, they're not making as much money as NBA players or even MLB players, but look at their season length. You play, 18? There's 18 weeks, 16 to 18 weeks in the NFL.
There's 16 with 4 preseason games.
Versus 82 games in the NBA. The NBA is drawing in massively more money.
I don't think that's accurate. I'm pretty sure the NFL is the leading industry.
It's like the NBA. My thing is like the NFL season is much more rigorous, and what's the average career span? Like 3 or 4 years, which
it's 3 years.
Every league is like NBA. I believe it's also 3 or 4 years, but it's way different just from league to league.
Again, it's only
hard
12
to compare.
players on the bench, so now you can get paid more
versus a 53-man roster. Yeah. It's hard to compare leagues.
The cheapest contract you can give out as a rookie, I think it's $250,000, and for the NBA, if you're on an NBA roster, I think it's base $750. Is that right? It's something like that. It's significantly higher as a base contract, and many people don't even play under that. Many people just play over the $1 million price tag, which is interesting. All right, so moving on, some more NFL news. Michael Thomas also did not report to camp today, seeking a new deal. He's on he's on a 1-year, $1.2 million contract, which is obviously debatable top 5 receiver in the NFL. I think the Saints will pay him. I don't know if there's much to talk about there, because
I think he's fairly worth it. He's proved himself again.
I think he's gonna continue to dominate his entirety of his career. He'll get paid. He'll get paid by the Saints because they need to keep Drew Brees happy until he eventually dies behind center, because he's never gonna retire.
Out on a wheelchair. Yeah.
Do you think receivers deserve to be paid like
I was gonna say that
Le'Veon Bell money?
It's tough.
Well, I mean, like receiver money and running back money is different anyway. Mm-hmm. So receivers get significantly more compensation than running backs do.
Running backs is more like
way
more prone to injury, way more risky.
Yeah, and they tend not to be valued as much, because if you have a good old line, you can plug really anybody behind that line.
Right.
Yeah. I was gonna make that point with Melvin Gordon, where it's like, they have a good old line. You could plug in anybody.
Line. I wouldn't say they're a phenomenal O line, but they're a good run offense O line, which is what
you need.
You could plug in like a Rex Burkhead even, and he'd be productive.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Exactly. I mean, like take the 2014 Dallas Cowboys line. I could have had a 1,000-yard season behind that line, and I'm slow as shit. Moving on to the latest news on Tyreek Hill, he will not be suspended by the NFL after.
We all know what we think about that.
Of suspected abuse. When I say suspected, this dude broke his son's arm.
3 years old.
He beat his pregnant girlfriend in college to the point where she almost had a miscarriage. Mm-hmm. This is not a nice guy. I think we all know this is not a nice guy. No. But we also have to be impartial. Did he do this one thing? We don't know. We don't have the evidence to support whether or not he did. I'm going to have to lean on the side and saying that he did, because I just think that's the type of guy Tyreek Hill is. Once you hit a woman, it's going to keep going.
Once you do it once, it's not an accident.
Exactly.
Especially when you have a guy like that you hear repeated incidents.
And I think it hasn't changed his behavior. He will not be suspended by the NFL. And I think that's wrong, because when you look at a guy like Josh Gordon,
right?
Again, Patriots. We're from New England. Get over it. Josh Gordon, who's indefinitely suspended by the NFL, although some people say he'll be back before the season. I don't really look into it right now, because I'm still kind of shaky about it. But you look at a guy like Josh Gordon, who's indefinitely suspended for smoking weed, which should be legal in the NFL regardless. The new CBA is going to legalize it, and it's going to change the way players rehab and how players relax and all that stuff, which is great for the sport. But it doesn't change the fact that Josh Gordon's wasted 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, of an all-pro
on his career.
Arguably wasted his prime. Like, those are his prime years.
I would say he's out of his prime. Yeah, I'd say he's out of his prime a couple years.
He's 20. Well, he's 28, 29 now.
29.
He wasted a good chunk of his
prime.
Yeah, exactly. For a guy who had a 1,600 yards, 1,400
on the Browns with Brian Hoyer.
16 or 14. I don't know if it was 16 or 1,400 yards.
I know he was first team All-Pro. Like, come on.
Brian Hoyer, Brian Hoyer's throwing you the ball and you're taking a 1,600-yard season.
Yeah, did you see him in preseason last year? He's awful.
He torched the Patriots. It was unbelievable.
Okay, and that comeback.
He had like 2 touchdowns, 220 yards, something like that. It was unbelievable. And now, ironically, he's on the Patriots.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick is hoping they get him back. But we shouldn't be having this conversation right now. Who should be in the NFL? No. Tyreek Hill or Josh Gordon?
We've seen it for years, is that the NFL seemingly doesn't take domestic abuse cases nearly as seriously as it takes PEDs, which, I get to some degree, but especially marijuana, it shouldn't be that big of an issue, especially when compared with domestic violence. It's what kind of players you want to have in the league, what kind of people, what kind of league you're trying to make here.
But I think, I don't know, this is all speculation, but, with the Tyreek Hill thing, you have to even look at, the Ray Rice thing. Ray Rice, domestic abuse, he's out of the league and he never got another chance. What's so special about Tyreek Hill?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no video evidence, but there's a strong case against him.
Well, I think this is how the NFL has developed and changed, because Ray Rice initially got that 4-game suspension, and then the NFL blacklisted him.
Yeah.
Because he could have played in the NFL, he could have been a productive player for another, I'd say, 3 to 4 years. He had at least one prime year left, because he this is off. What was it? 2014 was suspended. Something like that.
Yeah.
This is 2 years removed from an incredible Super Bowl run where they won with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed for the last time, and he was a big part of that team. Yeah. And so he obviously had value left to give the NFL, but just like Colin Kaepernick, he's been blacklisted and won't be signed. Now, fast forward to now, you have Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill. Kareem Hunt's on video kicking and punching a girl in a hotel lobby.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Having a fight in a Cleveland bar, that's been disputed. I don't know if that's still going on. I don't think he did that. I think that was more talk than anything else.
Yeah.
But this guy got suspended, I think, 8 games, but he's already on a roster. So it's just weird. It's all about pure talent, because Tyreek Hill runs I think it's a sub 4.340. He's the fastest guy in the league. Maybe the fastest guy the league's ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why he hasn't been.
John Ross is the fastest 40.
John Ross is a 40. Yeah.
So
it's a matter of top tier players.
I don't think the 40 necessarily determines who's the fastest in the league.
No, yeah, but you can make a case that the NFL is the fastest.
Case, but okay, we'll call it 1A, 1B. Tyreek Hill is still.
No, yeah, exactly.
A top 2 speed guy in the NFL, and it adds too much dynamic play for your team. I think the NFL. This is where politics comes in. They have a number of primetime games after Patrick Mahomes showed out 50 touchdowns, 5,000-yard season. They lose Kareem Hunt last year. He was a huge part of that offense. And Damian Williams is a great running back, but does not bring in the same value as Kareem
they
Hunt.
Probably would have made the Super Bowl if Kareem Hunt didn't get.
I think Kareem Hunt adds a much better value than Damian Williams does.
Sure.
Again, you lose Tyreek Hill maybe the entire season if it's proven, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Patrick Mahomes has no deep threat to stretch the field with.
He only has Travis Kelce,
number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce's always injured. You're taking away the most dynamic weapon.
I think he still have a good season, but still, you're taking away one of the main attractions of the NFL, up and coming superstar, paired along with this star wide receiver. The NFL doesn't want to take away from that revenue.
Exactly. So they're transitioning out of the age of the Bradys, the Breezes, the Mannings,
the pocket quarterbacks. They don't want
the pocket quarterback. They're just trying to find their new golden boy. And Patrick Mahomes gave them the gold mine. Young, talented, big arm, dynamic offense, RPOs, read pass option for those of you who don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible thing to watch on primetime TV.
Yeah.
So they found their solution and they can't lose it.
Wait, that game last year, the Rams and Chiefs, absolute shootout. That's what the NFL is trying to get to.
That was the most entertaining game I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Probably
back and forth right till the very end. Mm-hmm.
And no, it was entertaining. I think the best game I've ever watched was Super Bowl 51. When the Patriots came back from 28-3. Even I'm biased.
That or 49.
I'm biased.
49.
But guys, get it through your head. 28-3. What is it? I think it was 7 minutes left in the third quarter before we scored again. Mm-hmm. That's unbelievable. Don't hate on Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. Now, continuing on. I think we've covered all the NFL bases. I think we're going to go to the NBA.
Right.
The NBA had I'd say, culture changing.
It wasn't even culture changing. That's the biggest free agency, the wildest free agency I think the NBA has ever seen, and I think ever will see.
I think it's on par with '96 when Shaq went into free agency. I think on par with when Braun went into free agency to join the Heat. I think it's one of the craziest off seasons.
But the thing with those two off seasons was it was only a few stars moving. Where
this is like
this off season,
it feels like every star is moving.
You feel like every star's moving. Kawhi and Paul George to the Clippers,
Mm-hmm.
AD to the Lakers, Kemba to Boston,
Westbrook
to the Rockets, KD and Kyrie to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like all those players are all NBA players.
Mm-hmm.
It is unbelievable to see the change of talent and the change of scenery. Quick shout out to the Thunder, who are in full rebuild mode now. I appreciate the effort you've taken to secure Westbrook with a home, because I think they want to take care of their last surviving piece. He stuck with them through thick and thin, been there in the best of times and the worst of times. So I think the Thunder wanted to send him off right, reunite him with James Harden, and give him a shot to win a title. So shout out to the Thunder for being a
story with that is that the Thunder gave him the choice between the Heat or the Rockets. I felt like they he earned that choice, which is nice, even though they got a better package from the Heat.
And this is the only time you'll ever hear me defending a player run move, because I am all about the owners and the GMs. And yes, I said owners. This whole governor's nonsense I'm not going to cooperate with. But I am very much in favor of the owners running the league. I think the NBA has been infiltrated by these money-hungry agents, egos, and players who think they own the teams now, and they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't. And the fact that they can request trades under contract. Anthony Davis should not be on the Lakers right now.
So,
I mean, some people would say that. Some people would even say you have the top 4 players in the league right there.
Some people would say that there's a case to be made, definitely. And when you're talking about all-around players, not just specializing in offense or defense, I agree.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. Let's see your 3, 4, 5.
3, I got Westbrook and Harden. I think a lot of people are sleeping on them this year.
I don't know.
People don't like that together. I don't know if they're going to go far in the playoffs.
Not even a play.
People don't think they're going to click. I think they're going to make it work. I think this is. I think we're going to see a lot of maturity we didn't know Russell Westbrook had next season.
Okay. I just don't think that as ball dominant as they both are.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to split carries.
But it's a point of. It's can they put aside their egos to finally, muster up the. What am I looking for? The selflessness to
win a title.
To win a title. That's what they need, and they need to give up their ball dominance. They need to be able to work together.
And I have to shout out the Warriors for this. Steph Curry took a backseat to Kevin Durant after winning 2 unanimous MVPs. You've never seen that in any sport. That is an unbelievable thing to do. Everybody played their roles when they needed to, and when people were having bad nights, they picked up for it. It's one of the perks of having one of the best teams of all time.
Ever.
And continue on with your
Speaking of Steph and Clay, I got them at number 4. The thing is, Clay's coming back anywhere from November, I think January, February. People are sleeping on the Warriors. I don't get it. People are saying they're going to miss the playoffs. They're going to be 7th and 8th seed.
This time last year, would you have heard anybody saying you're sleeping on the Warriors? I don't think I've ever.
I know.
I haven't heard that in the last 5 years.
And they got D'Angelo Russell. I know this is a duos list, but you can't forget that this team isn't going away. Talking about Steph Curry, in my opinion, top 3 player in the league. Still, maybe top 4. I don't know, especially with what Kawhi's done recently.
I don't know, but that's a different discussion. I don't know.
But I think Clay's going to come back. Clay is one of my favorite players in the league. He gets his job done. I think he's going to be motivated to come back. I think they got a lot to prove next year. Kevin Durant, their dominance with him wasn't a fluke. They're not just his kind of sidekicks. They run the show. It's still their thing. What do you guys think? Do you think they're underrated? Do you think people are rating them adequately?
I think people keep underrating him after the media coverage of the finals. I've heard a nonstop narrative of Curry has never won a finals MVP. All offseason, not even offseason, just starting in the finals and moving on to now. That's all I've heard. Curry's never won a finals MVP. Oh, he's always taking it back. He's choking the biggest moment. We're talking about the best shooter of all time. I feel comfortable saying that too. I think it goes Curry and Allen. I think that's a pretty normal thing to say. I think Steph Curry's proven time and time again he can hit ridiculous shots at ridiculous times.
Yeah.
Now, given he's never won that finals MVP, I think it's a time to be concerned.
It's a stain
about whether or not he can deliver in the biggest moments. Now, if Clay does come back to the point where he was when he exited, I don't think Steph needs to be that guy.
No.
Because Klay Thompson has developed his game tremendously since Kevin Durant's gotten there. I think his presence on the court as a third option has made him tremendously fluent on the court, tremendously patient, and tremendously I was gonna say respected. I was gonna go with knowledgeable, because he sees how the game is run from an off-ball position, which he already did. I know he already did that before Kevin Durant got there, but seeing the offense develop and seeing how to pick and choose where he gets his shots from, I think it's gonna help him tremendously in that the number 2 slot.
Yeah, I agree, Pat. What are your thoughts on Warriors?
I mean, I think it could go either way. I mean, before the whole D'Angelo Russell trade, I really did not think they would make the playoffs just with Steph Curry, because there's a big possibility Klay Thompson doesn't even come back this year. That's the issue.
Yeah, it's true.
And if Klay didn't come back at all this year, with just Steph Curry and Draymond Green, the West is loaded. But, I think Steph and D'Angelo Russell will be able to hold their own. I mean, they form a terrible defensive backcourt. But offensively, they're 2 really great players, and
offensive league now.
It is, and you still have Draymond. So
who's the backbone of that team, by the way?
Yep.
People like to say Draymond's not important. Draymond's the most important part of that team.
I see people saying that they're not going to make the playoffs. I see people saying that they're still going to be a top 3 seed in the West. I see them as a middle pack, I agree. 5 to 6 seed, possibly get into the second round.
3 to 6.
I'm interested to see just how Steve Kerr adjust the team back from Kevin Durant kind of being, that guy for the past 2 years, 3 years.
And not even that. It's an underrated thing that people aren't talking about. When Andre Iguodala left.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Andre Iguodala
he was a big glue guy.
Andre Iguodala was a glue guy, like you just said. The Warriors are retiring his number this season. And he's a guy that kept your core together, not in just a way on the court, but in the locker room. This is a guy who's been around for a very long time, knows what it's been like to be in the playoffs, knows what it's like to be out of the playoffs, and knows what it's like to win a ring. And now they have a lot of young guys going on that bench now without a veteran leadership like Kevin Durant or Iggy.
Yep.
Or DeMarcus Cousins, I would say, even because he's been in the league for a long time too.
Mm-hmm.
Even though
they even lost a lot of the.
Oh yeah, they lost a lot of
young
people.
Guys. Like they lost Quinn Cook to the Lakers.
Yep,
like
that was a great.
Quinn Cook played phenomenal for them in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Value shooter. Pat, I want your fifth duo right now.
This might be a surprise. Personally, I don't think it should be, but Giannis and Chris Middleton, mostly because of Giannis. You think about it, he's 24, just won MVP. He's only going to get better.
Knock on wood.
I'm kind of being knock on wood. Knock on wood. Being a Celtics fan, I'm scared of Giannis next couple of years. Him and Chris Middleton, even though they lost Malcolm Brogdon, that is a formidable team up there in Milwaukee.
I agree. I just think that if Giannis can develop a shooting, he might turn into one of the best players of all time. But that's a big if because his shooting is atrocious right now.
Yeah.
But I had to disagree with that. I don't think Chris Middleton's as good as people rate him as. I think he's a very overrated player. I think his contract was ridiculous.
No, I would even agree with that. But
the thing is with Chris Middleton's contract is for a team like Milwaukee, where you're a small market team, you need to overpay for players like that.
Because you're not like I do think Giannis gives you an edge in free agency though.
Even with Giannis though, who's gonna want to go play in Milwaukee?
I don't know. I have to see a free agent class for next year, but I definitely think
the free agent class is terrible next year.
I think Giannis is a big draw. I think he's a big draw in Milwaukee. So let's continue on. Pat, what's your top five?
Kind of like Pat's. I mean, personally, I got Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George as my number one spot.
Mm-hmm.
I just think those two, and then I know it's duos list, but even with Pat Bev and Montrezl Harrell,
that defense defensively is crazy,
phenomenal. And then I got AD and LeBron. Shit,
right.
LeBron is LeBron.
Right. People are treating LeBron like he's kind of like a slouch because he didn't make the playoffs. Personally, he averaged 27, 8, and 8. Like,
he had a phenomenal
still,
year.
My opinion, the best player in the league, arguably with Kawhi.
Oh, I don't know. I think Kawhi dethroned him this year. I have to say.
We'll have to see next year, head to head. But I think LeBron's still that guy.
Yeah, I think LeBron still is that guy. I think LeBron has a lot to prove coming into the season, and I think he's going to have a lot of fun this year. And for my number three, the three spot is hard. I think you put them here too, Pat. Russ and James Harden.
Yeah.
I just think that backcourt.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised a lot of people with my list will say that.
I just feel like those two, they already have that chemistry. They're really good friends, and I think Russ is at that point where he understands that now, after being traded from Oklahoma City, it not working out with Paul George, it not working out with Kevin Durant, that he has to take that back seat, and I think he knows that right now.
You better know that. Come on, man.
Am I number four? This might be a stretch, but I might put CJ and Dame up there.
Ooh.
See, I debated about this too. I want to hear your reasoning why, though.
I think Damian Lillard came off a phenomenal year. He's always has that underdog mentality, and I just love Damian Lillard. He's a phenomenal player to watch. He's fun to watch. And they've just got a really good team out there.
Yeah, I think that's a solid choice. I wasn't even thinking about that.
That's fair. And round up your top five right now. Let's see that five.
See, the list. What makes this list hard is that KD's not going to be here next year. Not going to be around.
That was my thing. Yeah.
They would definitely be my 3, but number 5. This is going to shock a lot of people too. I really like this team out west. I'm going to have Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley. I am really high on the Utah Jazz right now. I really like what they have going on there. They pulled in a lot of good pieces. They got Bogdanovich too, right?
Oh yeah, they got a lot of shooters out there. They got a dangerous team.
They're good, and with Rudy Gobert out there,
you're the best shooter of all time, and Joe Ingles. So
actually, no.
Joe Ingles is really good.
The Utah Jazz are getting no media coverage because they're in Utah, but Donovan Mitchell, one of the most electrifying guards in the league, adds Mike Conley, who's never won anywhere, who just wants to win. Similar to Kemba Walker.
I love Mike.
Mike Conley is a phenomenally underrated point guard who is going to shock a lot of people this year in Utah. With the shooters they have around him, he's going to be able to distribute perfectly. He's going to be wide open on a number of possessions, and he's going to get his buckets. All right.
I'm a huge Donovan Mitchell guy. I mean, how can you not, being from New England area? He's a New England kid. Went to Brewster.
Mm-hmm.
Sky's the limit for that kid.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, my turn. Round out my top 5. My number 1, number 2 are the same as your guys. I got the Claw, PG at number 1. I think pairing those two is going to change the way the NBA looks at defense because they're going to realize defense wins championships, just like they realized in the NFL a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
They might be the best defensive team we've seen since I don't even know when. This team is going to be ridiculous.
Insane.
Patrick Beverley is arguably the best defensive guard in the league. Marcus Smart might be up there. Another biased thing, but first team All-Pro defense. Yeah, finally. Montrezl Harrell.
Team USA for Marcus Smart.
Team USA.
Yeah,
you're damn right, Team USA. Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, and Jaylen Brown, all from the Boston Celtics, representing the USA at the FIBA World Cup. So good luck to the boys in blue. On my number 2 slot, I got Bron and AD, just like you guys. LeBron's still that dude, just like Pat said. People are really sleeping on the Lakers this year, which is weird considering they have 2 of the top 5 NBA players in the league. I think they're being kind of overshadowed with the Clippers because of Kawhi winning that championship in Toronto and then coming to the Clippers. LeBron is getting older, but LeBron's still that dude.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 3, hot take alert. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving at number 3.
I don't.
The Brooklyn Nets. Now, this is all the
if KD's healthy, 100%. If he's healthy,
assuming Kevin Durant is healthy. Yes.
Okay.
Kevin Durant comes back.
That's where I would have
him ahead with his Achilles injury. Him and Kyrie Irving might form the best offensive duo the league has right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree. Most unguardable. How can you guard that?
I would say even a hot take. If Kevin Durant comes back healthy, that's not a hot take. That's the most formidable, not compatible, talented duo, offensive duo at least, in the NBA.
Yeah, pick your poison, dude.
Pick your poison. Who are you going to guard? I understand who you're going to guard with that. That's going to be unbelievable. Especially with the pick and pop with my man DeAndre Jordan, who still can't shoot free throws, but it's okay.
That's an underrated acquisition, too.
And then off the bench, they have Jared Allen.
Oh, he's
Jared
great.
Allen, I think,
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Value guys in the NBA. He played phenomenal last year with D'Lo.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
Coming off the bench,
he's a great piece too.
It's really unbelievable what he was able to do last year with a very limited cast. I think the coach in Brooklyn gets a lot of
Karis LeVert.
Karis LeVert.
Him too.
He went down with another. It was an knee.
That was a gross injury. His foot twisted back. But he
dislocated his ankle.
Compared to what I thought it would be.
This is the guy who tore his ACL twice in college, and he played ball at Michigan, I'm pretty sure. And then he has a weird foot injury now. I really hope he comes back to
He would have been. I think he would have been that all-star for that team last year if he didn't go down.
I think
it would not have been D'Angelo
20,
Russell.
Right? 2021 or something. Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell was coming off the bench at that point.
Yeah, I think Karis LeVert would have won the 3-point contest, but that's just me. So number 4, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, like we were talking about earlier. Somehow people were sleeping on the Warriors. I don't understand how that came out of my mouth.
Yummy.
But they are.
Yeah, I know.
Steph Curry is best shooter of all time. Klay Thompson, one of the most.
Klay Thompson at 2, to be honest.
Yay. And they're going to be.
Put Klay Thompson over Ray Allen.
Above Ray Allen, I would.
No, sir.
No,
sir.
Call me
No,
crazy.
sir. No, sir.
Yep.
Now,
you can go ahead, but that's just my opinion.
but like,
I think I have ample evidence too.
Ample evidence.
Yeah.
Everybody have their 3-point percentages up?
When Klay Thompson is on fire, he's the most unguardable player in the league. You can't change my mind.
Most unguardable player.
Most unguardable. 60 points in 29 minutes. 62 points on like 11 dribbles, dude. If he gets a shot off, it's going in when he's on fire.
But also, granted, take it with a grain of salt. He's playing with the best team in the NBA.
He was playing with the best team. We'll see this year.
I think this year that goes a long way into proving your point. If he succeeds this year, it's a whole different ballgame. Because he contributed to that first championship team that the Warriors had, but he wasn't like the guy. You know what I mean?
He was not the guy. I would love to see him as the guy, but he just signed a max.
Klay Thompson has a higher 3-point percentage than Ray Allen.
Klay Thompson, I don't think he's ever shot under 40% from three.
Ray Allen, 40% for his career. Klay Thompson right now is at 419. So they are very close.
Wait,
very
419?
My thing is
0.419.
0.419.
Yeah.
For Klay Thompson. But my thing was with Ray Allen, I don't know. This might be like also biased because he did win a championship here in Boston, but I think Ray Allen right now has the legacy.
That's a fair point.
Klay Thompson doesn't.
He's hit the big
yet.
shots. That's fair.
That's true.
Ray Allen.
We're getting off topic. We finished my top 5.
That's true. Yeah, finish your top 5. I'm sorry.
My top 5. Yeah. Hot take alert number 2. Luka and Kristaps.
I don't know about that. I'm not a big Kristaps guy.
Okay, hear me out. Luka was probably the most impactful rookie we've seen since.
Oh no, I love Luka. I 100% agree with you on that.
I think Luka. I like Luka. I think it proves how.
Trae Young was my rookie of the year last year. Trae Young is phenomenal.
Consider that.
They're both phenomenal. Let's just
They're
agree
both
on
phenomenal
that.
Players. I was wrong on Trae Young. I was dead wrong on Trae Young. I said he was going to be
dead wrong.
And he showed me up. He played phenomenally for that Atlanta team. Somehow Quavo got it better than me because Quavo said he's the new Steph Curry, and it looking that way too.
Yeah, I mean he certainly looked like it at times.
Getting back to it, Luka I think defines what's wrong with American basketball because now growing up, I think Pat can attest to this. He was an AAU kid. He's playing college ball. Mixtapes, crossovers, and highlight reel plays are the only thing emphasized in our sports media for basketball. I think that's a problem. I think Ball is Life has deteriorated what basketball actually means in America because traditional basketball works. The Spurs are the best dynasty in NBA history, I think. The modern Spurs are the best dynasty in NBA history. And you want to know why? Because they play traditional basketball, they pass the rock, they rebound, and they play defense.
Mm-hmm.
None of those values are shared in modern, and not even modern NBA, modern basketball youth circuits. I think it's emphasizing the wrong thing.
The problem is though in the youth circuits in the AAU, and I'm not even going to get into all the rule changes that the NCAA just put in, which I think are totally fucking bullshit because the NCAA is just trying to make more money off these kids. But the problem is in these youth circuits is like you only had this certain amount of time, like live period, where you could actually get to talk to coaches. So in those situations, you only have a certain amount of time, and you need to show out. So you can't it's hard to play team basketball in those situations because you have to show out. You have to impress. So that's the hard part.
I understand that.
You have a window of 4 days to get college offers. 4 days in the whole fucking year. You have to show out.
No, I understand that, but at the same time, I think Luka shows that that's not always the case. Because this is a guy who won EuroLeague MVP and then became Rookie of the Year. I feel like the Europeans, this is the only time you're going to hear this from me ever, the Europeans have it better than America does for basketball because they do it right. They teach basketball right, they teach fundamentals right, and we don't. I think that's big problem.
I think you have a point there in that they teach fundamentals right and they teach the structural game of basketball
correctly.
But America still has the best basketball players in the world.
I agree.
And that will not change.
I don't think that's disputed. I really don't think it's disputed, but I just think the game would be better and it would be more, not even more enjoyable, just it would flow better if you played European-style basketball when it came to playing defense
I think you'd see more varied and more traditional styles of play among the league. Is not that I have anything wrong with the run and gun offensives now, but it can get kind of annoying just seeing your team chuck up 53s a game.
It gets so
kind of old. You like to see ball movement. You like to see guys cutting to the basket, getting wide open looks, all that stuff.
Referencing that, I remember the most frustrating game I've ever watched the Boston Celtics play was the fourth quarter of the 2017 NBA Conference Finals when the Celtics lost Cavaliers. LeBron took over in the
Jason Tatum dunk game?
Yeah, the Jason Tatum dunk game.
Oh, God.
LeBron James takes over in the fourth quarter, like we assumed he would. Like he was going to do that regardless.
Yeah.
And then we see Jaylen Brown put up like 4 threes that were forced because we were down by 4. We see Jason Tatum put up 2. We see Terry Rozier go 0 for 12 at 3. That shouldn't happen. You're down 4 points. Drive to the basket. Get fouled. Get your buckets. You're still in the game. People are too focused on the 3-point line now. I think that's the fault of Steph Curry. I think we all agree on that. All right, guys. Well, I think that'll do it for our first episode of South Shore Sports. I want to thank you for listening. You can follow our social media accounts at the end of the video. We have them posted for our Instagram, our Twitter. Hope you guys keep listening. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Part 1 of many, hopefully. We're just getting started, so hopefully you keep listening to us. I think we're putting out good content.
Thank you for listening. Continue to love and support whoever's there. And please share this with your friends so we can get out more. And, yeah, we're just going to keep making content, and hopefully you guys like it.
Peace, guys. Bye.
Peace.
Deuces.